Good morning, everyone, or actually, it's good afternoon, and it is Wednesday. At least I have the day right. Hello, everyone. I'm Nancy Ganzikofer, business coach and body language trainer, and I am here with my bookkeeping company and superstar, Carlene LeMay. Hello, Carlene. How are you?
Hello, I am great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. We're getting ready for a storm here in Florida, if you haven't
Ah,
heard.
yes, well, the funny thing is Helene, and that is my sister, literally how she spells her name. So let me tell you, you're in for a treat because
I know it's going to be if it hits us as at hurricane level, it will be our first hurricane here in Florida. We did
well,
have
we will
a
be
tropical
we
storm.
will definitely be thinking about you. Let us know how you're doing as the day goes on, for
Thank
sure.
you. I'm sure we'll be fine. I think we're getting sideswiped, so it'll be a lot of wind and rain, but we
Good.
should be fine. But today we are here to talk about interior designers' money and other small business owners' money and 7 tips to reduce their operating costs and to boost their profitability.
hmm
So let's get right to it. Tell us, what are the
Yay.
secrets?
Well, before we even talk about the secrets, let's just talk about how important it is to manage costs for business survivability and profitability. Like, I don't care how good you are at sales, if you cannot control costs, you will not have a business. So that's why we're talking about this today, because I know a lot of designers are amazing salespeople, but we want to make sure that they're also taking that same zest on the back end and controlling those expenses as well. Because by the time that we see the expense hit your bank account, it's too late. I mean, it's done. The money's been spent. So it's not much that we as bookkeepers can do on the front end to help you. So we have to help train them so to be able to help themselves so that we can then just kind of do the magic on the back end of giving them the numbers. But we're going to talk about highlighting how highlighting and reducing costs does not mean you have to sacrifice anything that you want to do. You know what
Yes.
I mean? There's no like
Yes.
you don't have to
Well,
feel
there's
like you're
also this
missing out.
disease out there, which I have had at times, where, yeah, I just want to spend it. Don't worry, I'll make it back. Don't
It's
worry, I'll
only
make it back.
money. It's just money.
It's just money, and I can make money, right? As a business owner, you think I could
Right.
just turn on a switch, but no, it is definitely not like that. You don't turn on a switch, you don't just start making money. And if times are getting lean and slower, it is time to look at your operating costs.
Right. And we both know that a lot of interior designers, and I would think small businesses as a whole, tend to have a slowdown in the summer. Like August was a lot stressful for a lot of my clients. So
Yes.
hopefully down that September is end, things are starting to settle down. They're not feeling that angst. But I feel like every conversation you and I have is to prevent them from having that feeling in the first place in August, that they have the funds ready to carry them through when times are a little bit leaner.
Yes, definitely.
So first tip, let's talk about automating time-consuming tasks. It's 2024. There's AI for freaking everything,
There
right?
is. Mhm.
So let's figure out what can you do that you can automate that's going to cut down on the amount of manual things you can do because time is money. And if
Yes.
you're not doing it, if someone else doesn't have to do it manually, that will save you some time. So figure out in your business what you can automate and cut down on. Number two, let's outsource non-essential or non-core activity, not non-essential, but non-core activities, which means live in your zone of genius. Do what you do and let someone else do the rest.
Yes.
That means hiring a bookkeeper, of course. That means making sure you have a great insurance person, an attorney, like a marketing team, making sure that you're not doing everything yourself. Because if
Yes.
you're really good at sales, you should be out there selling and getting more clients and not doing the other stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. Tip number three, and stop me or if we want to elaborate on any of these because we have
Well, one of
seven to
the, I
go
mean,
through.
let's go back to sales for a second, right? Some
hmm
people are really good at sales and they should stay there. And some people are still the principals of their company and not great in sales. You can't just delegate sales in the beginning when you're just starting out your business. You
No.
actually have to learn how to get good at it. So I know we're talking about reducing costs, but at some points in your life of your business, sometimes you actually have to hire someone to learn something that makes you better at something you need to do as the
And
CEO.
that's not a cost. That's an investment. Mm.
Thank you. Love it.
Yes, that is an investment. I truly believe in investing in yourself, investing in your business where you can see the return on that investment. Like, yes, this may cost me $10,000 to work with a coach. However, this coach is going to help me raise my rates, become a better salesperson, close more deals. That's not a cost. That's definitely an investment in your business.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's what I thought of when you said sales, because I thought, a lot of creatives are great at being creative, but they're not great at the sales. And they
Hmm.
wait way too long to hire someone like me to teach them how to do their sales and know their value and price themselves right. So I'm glad you distinguish that as an investment as
It is.
opposed to a cost. So, okay.
And let's also talk about if you are really good at the creative side, but you want to grow. There's only so much of you to go around. You need
Yes.
to also invest in hiring additional people that can
Yes.
help bring those visions to life. And that means documenting your processes and having how you want to do things in your business. And it may not be hiring an employee off the bat, but it could be hiring a freelancers to do project work to allow you to scale and maybe bring them on when you have the work. And then that also gives you an opportunity to figure out what it's like to work with someone and how do you translate your vision to someone else. And
Yes.
then when you're ready to hire someone like as an employee, you have like some procedures and some documents already built up from having worked with freelancers. Again, it's an investment.
Yep. Agreed. Okay. Very
All
good.
right. This one's going to be a little controversial. So I'm going to say that, but I'm going to say, especially if cash is tight, reducing office space. Now, hear me out. If you have clients coming into your space, by all means, you need to have an office, right? But I know that sometimes having an office is a vanity thing as opposed to a necessity.
Absolutely. I can't tell
Yeah.
you how many designers I have talked out of having separate space because that responsibility does not go away when your money goes away.
Mm-mm, it does not. And it's not just the rent, it's the utilities. It's sometimes you're sharing like the common space costs when you're in some sort of office complex. So, if you feel like I need to get out of my house to work or my team needs to meet in person every so often, co-working, where you're just paying by the time you're using it and not having to make that commitment is usually a better alternative, more cost effective. And then you don't have to use it when cash is tight.
Yes, love it.
Yeah. This is what we all can do, not only in our business life, but our personal life. And I'm holding my head down because it's so me as well, is eliminating unused subscriptions and services.
Oh my God, I feel like a
Oh.
rocket. I'm going to be a Rocket Money commercial soon. Because I
Yeah.
downloaded it once and I went, holy crap, I have a lot more than
Yeah.
I even picked up on.
Yeah. I think in this society, we're all so guilty of it. It's just so easy to put something on. You put it on a credit card, you don't think about it, but that it does add up. So if cash is tight, or even if cash isn't tight, if you just want to be more efficient so that you have more cash to do other things, take a look and do an audit of your subscriptions because I guarantee you're paying for something that you're not using. So
Guaranteed. Multiple,
guarantee.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And so number 6 is tracking and analyzing expenses. Had you been tracking and analyzing your expenses, you may have already known which which subscriptions you weren't actually using. So that goes to having an accounting system in place. I will always have to plug that. Using software, QuickBooks, getting away from your spreadsheets. Again, it's money spent, but it's an investment. It's going to free you up so much to have the ability to analyze your data and your numbers. I know that you preach to your clients and the people in your program to understand things on a project level. And it's really hard to do that with spreadsheets. You've got to
Yes.
start tracking those expenses so you can understand where the money is going.
Yeah,
So we've had,
you can't be an ostrich and keep your head in the sand about your numbers. Even if you think you have someone managing your numbers, your husband, your spouse, your business partner, your accountant, your bookkeeper. No, you're the CEO. You
yes,
have to actually know them and at least understand them to a certain extent, which levers you have to pull and push and reduce and increase in order to do business properly.
Yeah, it's going to be dealing with your money is a partnership. If you're not doing it yourself, it is always going to be a partnership. You cannot completely just hand it off to anyone. You have to be involved with understanding things if you're going to grow. Now, if you're happy staying where you are, that's a different
And
conversation,
that's
right?
awesome.
Right.
Mhm.
But if you really do want to grow your business, then you really do need to put a little bit of effort into understanding those numbers.
Right. And I'm not even going to say grow in number or profitability or more money. It could be just grow more organized, right? Grow more efficient,
So you have more
grow better.
time, more
Yeah,
life balance, right?
exactly. So you're serving your clients at an exemplary level, but also have
Mm,
work-life balance and understand when you spend here, this goes up or down, right? Like
yes.
understanding the relationship of the numbers in your business and having a awesome bookkeeper like I do in Colleen helps you keep track of that. So if you do get confused, you get to ask the questions. Okay, I'm not making as much money. Can you help me look at my numbers and figure out if there's something I can do or the bucket that I need to reduce,
Right.
right? That's
Yeah.
not an investment, but actually a drain. And you go into the books with everybody who's a client and you help them look at their numbers and understand their decisions.
Yeah, right. So one of the reports, if you are a QuickBooks user, and you look at your profit and loss, and if you don't, on our YouTube, on C2 Accountants YouTube, there is a video on how to read a profit and loss statement. We like to look at profit and loss by percentage of income, so you can see, like, yes, this is 100% of your income. Now you've spent 50% on cost of goods sold, and out of what's left, 10% went to marketing and 7% went to office supplies or 20%, and people are like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I spent that much, not just the dollar amount but the percentage. Like, when you look at it as a percentage and you realize, wow, for every dollar I make, are you telling me 10 cents going back out the door for just software or whatever it is? And
Yeah.
that helps them to kind of put it in perspective, I think, sometimes,
Yes.
because sometimes numbers in and by themselves may not mean anything, but when you look at them in the bigger context, then they start to make more sense.
Definitely, definitely. And then they ask a lot of questions like, well, do other people have the same percentage of,
Right.
right? And then we go into some people do, some people
Some people
don't. It
don't.
depends on
Yeah.
how much you make, what industry you're in, like
So many
all
things. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. That's
So
funny you mentioned that. I do get that a lot. Well, what do other designers do?
what are
And
the
then, well,
standards of
right,
what expense, how much of your after cost of goods sold income should go to marketing, your own salary,
right.
your staff, and
Like you just said, it depends.
it
Because
depends.
it depends on your business. It depends on, your industry. If you're not an interior designer, it depends on your location. It depends on the stage of business growth you're in, because the percentages for a startup versus a mature business versus a business who's trying aggressively to grow, they're all very different. So it's so much harder to say this is what the standard should be, because it really does depend. And I don't like when people feel like, they compare themselves to others, but like, well, what do you know about that business before you start comparing yourself to them?
That's
Because
right.
you may not be on the same place, right?
Exactly. And they may not be making good decisions that you just can't detect by
Ooh.
looking at their social media. You would have no idea if they're
And
making good.
oh yeah, you and I both know that what you see in the public eye is not always what happens behind when you pull the curtain back. So yes,
Absolutely.
never ever compare yourself to someone else. Be the best version of you that you can be.
That's what
Uh,
I love. All
yes.
right.
So we've already gone through 6 of these. So the last one was negotiating with vendors. Uh, One of the things that I see with my interior design clients particularly is making sure that they have those trade relationships so that they can get better discounts, so that they can mark up their client purchases a lot better. And building those relationships, tracking how much you're spending, so you can walk in and say, you know what, I spent $100,000 with you last year. But if you don't know that, it's a lot harder to plead your case. So it goes back.
Yes.
Yeah, everything's full circle. It goes back to like tracking your expenses. How much did you spend uh, to JP or Rugs or something like that last year? And I may have butchered the name, but you know exactly who I'm referring
Report.
to.
Yeah. Yeah.
J4. See? But yeah, understanding those, how much you're spending and figuring out, can I negotiate some better deals than what I'm paying?
Yes, and I will say, as an art consultant for 17 years, I sold artist work. I sold art from larger companies, and I negotiated on a regular basis. This is $100. Can you give it to me for 75? And I'm giving you low numbers. This is $5,000.
Right.
Can you give it to me for 4? And my client is looking for a better deal. Was it always that my client was looking for a better deal, or was it me looking for a little bit more profit?
Hmm.
My
Yeah.
choice, isn't it?
Right. Exactly. But
So
walking into those conversations from a point of power, it's so much more. When you have knowledge behind you and numbers behind you, it's way more empowering than just asking. So.
yes, definitely. Not
Yeah.
wondering, but actually asking,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Exactly. So those were our 7. I'm going to just like recap them just in case someone missed them. We talked
Yes.
about automating time consuming tasks. We talked
Mhm.
about outsourcing non-core activities. We talked about augmenting your workforce with freelancers instead of maybe making the commitment to actually hire someone full time. We talk about reducing your office space if it makes sense, eliminating unused subscriptions, tracking and analyzing your expenses, and then negotiating with your vendors. Um, Remember, saving money and reducing costs is about working smarter, not just cutting corners, right? It's really thinking about it and putting some thought behind everything and not making these decisions from a gut level, but from a
Yes.
fact-based level.
Right. If you're wasting money on expenses that are unnecessary, think of it as those are more hours you have to work or
Mhm.
more product you have to sell. So it's actually making you money by reducing unnecessary
Yeah,
expenses in your
yeah.
business,
And when
right?
you think about how much you charge per hour to your client, and then you think about what you're spending on whatever it is, that's how many hours you'd have to bill to cover that. It really changes, how you're thinking about things.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So, all right, awesome tips as usual, Colleen. Tell everyone how to find you if they need a great bookkeeper.
Well, I feel like you have the link here at every platform we're on, but we're at C2 Accounting and Business Support. If you just look up C2 Accounting and Business Support, you will find us. We offer a diagnostic review. So if you have books and you're like, I'm just not sure if they're being done right or if I'm doing them correctly, we could take a look at that for you. We have a guide on our website, things you should be doing every day, every week, every month, to
Oh, I love
maintain your
that.
books. So yeah, we would love to support small businesses, and we love supporting interior designers.
Love it. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
We will see you next month. You don't have to tell me what it's going to be about, but I know that everyone should be marking their calendars for the next one because when it comes to your numbers, you need to be learning all the time. You cannot ignore these broadcasts and make believe that you'll be fine if you don't know your numbers. Okay. This is really important.
And if anyone has anything they would like us to talk about, we're open to creating some of these conversations around what people actually want to hear. So if they're struggling in the area or they're really unsure and they just don't have anyone else to ask, reach out, put it in the comments. We'll talk about it next time.
I think that's a great idea. And we talked about even doing a little like show and tell certain functions maybe
Yep,
in
we've done that in
bookkeeping.
the past, so we could do it again for sure.
Right. So if you guys are struggling with your bookkeeping in any form or fashion, ask the questions under one of these broadcasts, and Colleen and I will get a notice, and we'll take that into consideration for the next
Exactly.
subjects. So,
Well,
all right, everyone, go have a great day. I'm going to go
yes.
hunker down for the storm.
Be safe. Be safe for sure.
Thank you. And
All
everyone
right.
else in Florida, see you soon.
Take
Thanks.
care.
Bye.
Bye bye.